You opened your phone this morning, before you got out of bed, before you brushed your teeth, before you said a single word to anyone. You checked it, and you don't even remember deciding to do that. That's not a habit. That's a design. A system built by some of the most brilliant engineers on Earth. Not to connect you, not to inform you, not to entertain you, but to own your attention. Every second of it. Because your attention is worth money. A lot of it. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a business model. And once you understand how it works, you'll never scroll the same way again. The social media industry generates over $200 billion in advertising revenue every year. $200 billion. Every single dollar of that money comes from one thing: your time. The more time you spend on the platform, the more ads you see. The more ads you see, the more money they make. It's that simple. And that's exactly why every feature, every notification, every scroll was engineered to keep you there longer. Let's start from the beginning. In 2004, Facebook launched as a college networking site. Simple, functional, basic. You posted, your friends saw it. That was it. But something unexpected happened. People kept coming back, not because they needed to, but because they wanted to see what happened next. Who commented? Who liked? Who responded? The engineers noticed, and they started asking a question. Not, how do we make this more useful? But how do we make this more addictive? That question changed everything, because they already knew the answer. They studied it. They tested it. They borrowed it from somewhere else. Las Vegas. Slot machines specifically. Here's what slot machines taught the tech industry. A slot machine doesn't pay out every time. It pays out randomly. Sometimes you win on the first pull, sometimes on the 50th. That randomness is the key, because your brain doesn't get addicted to winning. It gets addicted to the possibility of winning. The uncertainty, the anticipation, the maybe this time. Social media engineers applied the exact same principle. When you post something, you don't know immediately how many likes you'll get. You have to come back and check, and then check again, and again. That uncertainty is not accidental. It was built, deliberately, to keep you coming back. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris called this a slot machine in your pocket. He worked inside the system. He saw how it was built, and he left because he couldn't live with what he knew. Now let's talk about the like button. It seems harmless. A small thumbs up, a heart, a simple reaction. But the like button is one of the most powerful psychological tools ever deployed at scale. Here's why. When you post something and get likes, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released when you eat something delicious. When you win money, when you take certain drugs, dopamine makes you feel good, and your brain wants more of it. So you post again, you check again, you scroll again, looking for the next hit. The engineers knew this. They studied neuroscience. They ran experiments, thousands of them, testing which colors trigger more clicks, which notification sounds make people return faster, which content formats keep eyes on screen longest. Every detail was optimized, not for your well-being, for your engagement. And engagement is just a polite word for addiction. Now let's talk about the algorithm. This is where it gets really uncomfortable. The algorithm's job is simple. Show you content that keeps you watching. That sounds reasonable, until you understand what kind of content keeps people watching longest. Not happy content, not inspiring content, not educational content. Outrage, fear, controversy. Content that makes you angry keeps you scrolling 70% longer than content that makes you happy. 70%. The algorithm knows this. It learned it from watching billions of people, and it acts on it. Every time you see something that makes you furious on social media, and you keep scrolling anyway, the algorithm is doing exactly what it was designed to do. A former Facebook data scientist, Frances Haugen, leaked thousands of internal documents in 2021. Those documents revealed that Facebook's own researchers had concluded that their algorithm was actively making people angrier, more polarized, more extreme. And the company knew. They had the research, they had the solution, and they chose not to implement it, because fixing the problem would reduce engagement, and reduced engagement means reduced revenue. So they kept the algorithm running, exactly as it was. Now let's talk about what this is doing to your brain. This is the part that should genuinely concern you. The human brain was not designed for infinite scroll. It was not designed for 300 notifications per day. It was not designed to process the emotional content of 10,000 strangers before breakfast. But that's what it's doing, every day, and the consequences are measurable. Between 2012 and 2018, the years when smartphone social media use exploded globally, rates of depression among teenagers increased by 52%. 52%. Anxiety disorders among young people hit record levels. Loneliness, despite being more connected than any generation in history, became an epidemic. The researchers who studied these numbers were alarmed. The social media companies were not, because depressed, anxious, lonely people scroll more. not less. And more scrolling means more revenue. Now let's talk about children specifically, because this is the darkest part of the story. Social media companies know that teenagers are their most valuable users, not because they have money, but because habits formed before age 18 tend to last a lifetime. Hook a 13-year-old, and you have a customer for 50 years. Internal documents from Instagram, revealed in a 2021 Wall Street Journal investigation, showed that the company's own researchers had found that Instagram was harmful to teenage girls, specifically around body image, self-esteem, mental health. One internal presentation stated, and this is a direct quote from their own research, "We make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teen girls." 1 in 3. Their own words, their own research, and their response. They continued the platform exactly as it was. They accelerated their plans to launch Instagram for children under 13. They hired lobbyists to fight regulation, because children are valuable customers, and valuable customers are worth protecting, even from the truth. Now let's talk about what they know about you. Every tap, every pause, every scroll, every video you watch for more than 3 seconds, every post you come back to, every search you make, all of it is tracked, stored, analyzed, built into a profile of you that is more detailed than anything your closest friend knows. TikTok's algorithm can determine your sexual orientation, your political views, your mental health status, and your income level. From watching you scroll for 35 minutes, without you answering a single question, without you sharing a single personal detail, just from watching how you behave. And that profile is sold to advertisers who use it to target you with precision that was impossible 10 years ago. You are not the user. You are the product. That phrase has been repeated so many times it has lost its impact. But think about what it actually means. The platform is free. You pay nothing. So how does the company make $200 billion? By selling access to you, to your attention, to your behavior, to your psychology. You are what is being sold every time you open the app. Now let's be fair. Social media is not purely destructive. It has connected people across borders. It has given voices to people who had none. It has built communities for people who felt alone. It has spread information that would never have reached people through traditional media. These things are real, and they matter. The controversy is not that social media exists. The controversy is that it was built with tools borrowed from the gambling industry, deployed on people who never consented to being experimented on, tested on children whose parents had no idea what was happening, and optimized for profit rather than well-being. And when the companies discovered the harm, they hid it. But things are starting to change. In 2023, 41 U.S. states filed a lawsuit against Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, alleging that the company knowingly designed addictive features that harm children. 41 states. In 2024, the U.S. Senate grilled the CEOs of TikTok, Snap, Discord, YouTube, and Meta in a public hearing about child safety. The CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, stood up and apologized directly to parents in the audience whose children had been harmed. In Australia, legislation passed in 2024 banning children under 16 from social media entirely. The first national ban of its kind in the world. The system is old. It feels permanent. But systems change when the pressure becomes impossible to ignore. Here's what I want you to take from this. Social media is not a neutral tool. It is a product, engineered by people who understood exactly what they were building, tested on you without your knowledge, optimized for your engagement at the expense of your well-being. The next time you pick up your phone without deciding to, remember that moment was designed. The next time you feel angry after scrolling, remember that anger was engineered. The next time you can't put it down, remember that feeling was the goal all along. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are the target of a billion-dollar machine that has been studying you since you were a teenager. Understanding that is the first step to using it on your own terms. That's it for today. If you made it this far, thank you. Seriously, this channel exists to expose the systems that shape your life without your knowledge. Real stories, real numbers, real consequences. Voiceover powered by Redacast. AI voiceovers for faceless creators. Link in description. Drop a comment. Tell me which system you want exposed next. Because once you start seeing how these machines work, you can't stop. And I'll see you in the next one.